congratulations on this, and one of the best opening scenes of a film I think I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
What was it that made you want to take on such a challenging story? Because while it's very uplifting, there are some very real things in it which are difficult to watch, and getting that right must be give you a few sleepless nights.
Yeah, I think in particular the tone of the film, I was aware from day one, was a challenge for me. You know, there's a lot of humour, there's engaging emotion, there's tragedy, there's upset, there's hilarity, and those are elements and emotions that really fascinate me, and I love pulling them together. I think I've tried to do it when I look back now in most of my other films as well, but this is the most potent and exciting version of any film I've ever made, trying to combine, you know, tragedy and comedy and humour and emotion all in one go, and just kind of smashing them up together. So for me, the challenge was trying to keep the right tone so that hopefully people will relate to John. They'll feel that it's believable, it's realistic, and they won't feel like I've tried, you know, to have a cheap laugh at the condition, but that I've tried to present it in an honest and realistic way. And in particular, when I first met John, I deliberately said to him, you know, if I say to you that I feel like I can identify a level of humour in the condition, would that upset you? Would it irritate you? And he said, no. He said, my life has been the most hilarious, whilst at the same time tragic, at the same time. And as a writer and a director, those two elements are like dynamite, you know, especially when you put them together. So I wanted to do something brave. You know, I've done a number of films which have been quite commercial, and then I went off to America and made a number of films. I wanted to come back. I wanted to kind of put my neck on the line and just say, okay, what do I want to do? And we were very fortunate to have a financial kind of backing which allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do. I didn't have to, you know, get permission from anyone to you know, finish the script or to cast the film. There was no restrictions placed on me at all. So it was all great. How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah. Did you see Eddie? Eddie's here. Eddie Marson.
Oh, I'm not seeing him.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up there. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to do something a little bit risky, and I was happy to run the risk of failing, because I just felt like I needed something to, you know, get my pulse, you know, running.
And to pick just one moment of tragedy and comedy together is Lucy and John together in the car.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic scene. How did you go about that? Because I understand it was improvised to a great extent, as well as, you know, obviously being scripted into the film.
Yeah, so I was really keen to use as many people in the film who had Tourette's. We had 90 cast members, and 30 of those had Tourette's. So I was pleased with that level of engagement. Maybe the most successful example was Andrea, who played Lucy in the back of the car. She's a real person who really does have Tourette's. And one of the things I realized very early on was that when people have Tourette's and they come into contact with someone else who has Tourette's, they kind of trigger each other, and it's almost like a Tourette's tennis. So I devised a situation where you know, some parents had brought their daughter to see John. She doesn't want to speak to John, and John says, okay, open up, you know, let me get in. And he sits on the back seat of the car with her, and I won't go into what follows, but it's a fun scene. It's very realistic scene. That's what happens when people with Tourette's kind of get together, and it also shows a level of Tourette's where people who live with the condition kind of have like a tic attack, where it just all pours out of them in one go. And it happens often when people try and suppress their tics, especially a lot of teenagers. They might be at school, they might be at college, for example, and all day long they're trying to keep it in as the very best they can, because they know it's not acceptable to teachers or acceptable to school classmates. And then when they get home, it just all comes out. And that was an example of a tic attack, where two people just can't control the amount of ticking that they do.
And it's also a very cathartic moment in the film for Lucy's character in particular. Do you feel this is going to be a very cathartic thing for people to see on the screen, particularly those family members of those with Tourette's, as well as people with diagnosis themselves?
I really, really do. That wasn't my intention. I didn't set about trying to make a film which changed people's view of Tourette's. I set about trying to make a film about John Davidson, who I thought had the most extraordinary life. But I knew right from the beginning that if we were successful and if the film got made, it could only help people's understanding of people who live with Tourette's, but also understanding of everyone who has neurodiverse conditions as well, or autism, ADHD, OCD. All of those people need a level of understanding in society, and I was really keen when I finished the film to show John the first cut in a cinema on a big screen. And he said, wow, I haven't been to the cinema since I was 10 years old and I saw E.T. And I said, but you must have wanted to go to the cinema. He said, oh yeah, every month I want to go to the cinema. He said, but I can't, because I sit there and I shout and I tick and I swear, and then people come up and say, can you shut up? Because we're trying to watch the film and we've paid money to watch this film. And so it's impossible. And only today, actually, we had a relaxed screening of the film, which is a new thing, but it's really catching on. The lights are left up a little bit in the preview theatre. There's subtitles. It's only ever sold out to 1/3 of its capacity to give people space and room. So people who have high anxiety, OCD, Tourette's can sit in comfort knowing that they are amongst friends and people who are understanding of their condition.
It's a fabulous film, and congratulations again. I'm really looking forward to getting people's reactions when they see it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey,